Good evening, Tottenham fans. Spurs are set to sign 19-year-old Brazilian left back SOUZA. Yes, I can see you rolling your eyes now. Another 19-year-old. Just after Frank said he's not going to sign any players that don't move the needle. Well, before you start panicking or start getting irate with this, I'm going to tell you why this actually makes sense and why I think that's probably the best option we could probably go for and why it actually helps us in two positions, not just one. I'm also going to tell you a few of his stats and a little bit about him, his style of play, and what kind of player we can expect to see for Tottenham Hotspur. So before I get into all of that, we need to really strengthen this squad. We really massively need to strengthen this squad. We in multiple positions. And I think there's so much work to do, which is one of the reasons why this signing would make sense. Spurs have already agreed terms with this player. It would be a shock if they couldn't agree terms. I think he's only on $4,000 a week at the moment. So if you couldn't agree terms with this player, then you ain't going to be able to agree terms with any player. Anyway, it makes a lot of sense for me because we have Udogie as our first choice left back for starters. And this guy's 19 years old. Let me just go through a few stats and things about him. Once you know about him, then I can explain why it makes sense. That would make more sense to me. So first of all, this is his player profile. João Victor de Souza Menezes. We just call him Souza. Or Souza, I don't know how to pronounce it yet. I only heard of him when we was linked to him. Position, left back. He's also played as a winger and in midfield during his youth career. So he's played as a winger before, which could be quite handy. His club at the moment is Santos FC in Brazil. He's aged 19. Now, his key attributes is exceptional speed, strong technical ability, good attacking instincts, and solid defensive capabilities, which is music to our ears. But how good is that Brazilian league? That is the question we would need to ask when assessing this player. Potential. Regarded as one of Brazil's top emerging talents in his position, with scouts believing he could be destined for greatness, which, again, sounds absolutely brilliant, but we need to see proof in the pudding first. Style of play. Souza or Souza is described as a modern fullback who can bomb up and down the flank to impact matches at both ends of the pitch. His attacking prowess is a major strength, highlighted by high percentiles in successful take-ons and touches in the attacking penalty area. Despite his attacking nature, he is also considered dependable defensively. He is adept at drawing fouls, ranking in the 96th percentile for shot creating actions from fouls drawn, which for me is absolutely, if you look at that that was a scout report for this Brazilian kid, and it sounds absolutely exceptional. Obviously, we need to see him play. We need to see if he can handle the pace of the Premier League. Any player that joins from any other league to the Premier League sees a massive step and a massive increase in talent and speed of the league in itself. But those attributes in itself make sense. If you're going to buy a left back, you're not going to, this club at the moment is not going to attract anybody better than Destiny Udogie at the moment. I think Destiny Udogie, if he could stay fit, is an exceptional left back. There's no way we're going to buy a backup to Udogie that's better than Udogie. I know they said they want to move the needle, but in that position as it is, Souza makes a lot of sense. He's up and coming. He could fight for his place with Udogie, especially after adapting to the Premier League. Udogie can, have him under his wing and, teach him the ways of the left back in the Premier League. And we've got two left backs, which also means right back, Spence can go into right back and give Porro some rest. Porro can play some absolute brilliant games when he gets rest, but when he's overplayed, he becomes a really poor defender. Still good going forward, but a poor defender. Quite recently as well, I think he's properly regressed. I think his passing has gone haywire. He keeps kicking the ball off the pitch for a start, and I don't know what that's all about. And if now Porro has competition at right back, we might see a better performing Porro. Spence, I think Frank would fancy Spence more at that right back. He's better at defending. He can also go forward, and he's great at attacking as well. So, Spence is an athlete. He's a very, very good fullback. So Porro would have to, look over his shoulder now. So it makes a lot of sense to have Souza in that left back position. But also, if we are really struggling with injuries, Souza can play on the left wing as well. He's got exceptional pace. He's very, very quick, very technically gifted. I know the last two Brazilians we bought was Emerson Royale and Richarlison, who both I still don't believe are Brazilian. But let's hope Souza gives us that samba skill that we have been craving for from these Brazilians. Maybe this time we'll get a technically gifted young left back. So it makes sense in that regard. It also makes sense in the cheapness of the deal. So if we signed him for, let's say, I think it's going to be around between 10 to 15 million pounds. And it sounds like a lot for an unproven 19-year-old, but he's very, very highly rated. And there's a lot of clubs in for him. There's, I think, Chelsea, Newcastle. I think Bayern was looking at him at one point. There's a couple of other foreign teams looking at him too. So it just makes sense to snap him up. And hopefully he turns into this top class left back that we all hope he can. It also makes sense that if we're only spending that 15 million, then we can use money to plug holes in, I'd say, more serious situations. So, like, I really do believe that as much as left back is needed, we just need cover for your doggy. If Souza comes in, that's done, and it's done for cheap. If we can spend a higher amount of money on a left winger and probably two centre midfielders now, because with the injuries and people off at AFCON, we just need ball playing midfielders in there to work with the likes of Xavi, to work with Tell, who's on the wing, and work with Kudos when he comes back, and supply Richarlison a little bit more, because his lack of supply is unreal. So there's a lot more holes we need to plug, and getting in Souza for 15 million makes a lot of sense. He's got a lot of potential, and you know, he'll be second fiddle to your doggy. He'll probably get a lot of games because your doggy will probably get injured as soon as he comes back, which is normally what happens. So it makes a lot of sense. He sounds promising. He sounds like he's going to be a good top player, but you just never know in this Premier League. I've only seen highlight reels of him. And to be fair, Timo Werner looked really good on highlight reels. So anything's possible. So yeah, look, I know we're all rolling our eyes. We said we don't want no more 19-year-olds, but at left back, it just makes sense. It does. If we got a 19-year-old midfielder again, I would have been screwing, because we've already got two 19-year-old midfielders and a 22-year-old midfielder in Papa Sarr. We don't need any more youngsters in that midfield. Even if we got a winger that was a 19-year-old, I would have been screwing, because we've got Odegaard, we've got Tell that are both 20-year-olds as well. And we've got like Mikey Moore coming through as well. So it just wouldn't have made sense in any other position. It just makes sense at left back for me. It really does. So yeah, all in all, I just think Spurs need to get their finger out. It's day 8 now. This guy hasn't even signed yet. We've got he might have been signed by the time I've finished this video, but he's agreed personal terms. Spurs' first signing is a 19-year-old, which doesn't bode well for we want to compete on all 4 fronts. We want to challenge for the Premier League. We want to challenge for the Champions League. It really doesn't make a lot of sense when you go, okay, we'll just spend it on another 19-year-old. It doesn't really make sense, especially with the amount of academy players and amount of players we've got out on loan at the moment. It's insane. I've got a question for you, though. Would you bring Tyrese Hall back from Notts County? Because we've got so many injuries in midfield at the moment, and he's such a good player for Notts County at the moment. I know it's a completely different level, but he gets such high praise there. He's such an athlete as well. He's good on the ball. He's good at progressing the ball, which we really need. Maybe this could be his breakout season if we just gave him a chance. Look at what Manchester City did. They didn't have any defenders, so they brought a youngster off loan and brought him back and played him yesterday against Brighton. Why can't we do that with Tyrese Hall? He's a top potential. He's got really high potential for being a really good player. It just makes a lot of sense as well. Just to cover that midfield gap for now, because really, like, Bergvall's going to be out now. Bentancur's out. Sarr and Basuma are both at AFCON. We've only got Paulinho, Gray, and Bentancur left. No, Bentancur's out as well. We've got Gray and Paulinho. I don't even know who we've got left in that midfield. I think it's just Paulinho and Gray. So we're really, really struggling in that aspect. So even bringing in a Tyrese Hall, or actually putting the money down and actually buying someone, makes a lot of sense. There's been a lot of talk about Conor Gallagher as well. Again, it's Conor Gallagher every transfer window at the moment. I just don't think he wants to come to Spurs. I think if he wanted to come to Spurs, I think he would have been here already. He's not getting much game time out in Spain with Atletico Madrid, and he's open to coming back to the Premier League. I just can't see him coming to Spurs, though. I just don't see it. He would be a top player to have in that midfield. He's great at progressing the ball, great at winning the ball. His pressing is insane. He would improve our midfield massively, but I just can't see it happening. Let me know in the comments what you thought of today's video. Do you think it makes sense that we're buying in SOUZA at left back so we can use the money elsewhere in the squad? Would you take Conor Gallagher in midfield? Thank you for watching, and come on, you Spurs.